Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am AmalgamAsh, and today I wanted to go over the news that smileboom has provided for us concerning RPG developer BAKIN, as well as revisit the Steam forums and take a look at some of the new questions that have been asked and the new answers that have been provided since the last time we visited. And I'm excited. I'm going to have to zoom in on this in post for you because I can't make it bigger on my screen live. Very excited to show you the map editor. BAKIN's main screen, which appears when you open a project, is the map editor. In the center is the map being edited, and to the left and right are menus and a group of functions called palettes. At the upper side is the top menu for saving projects, etc. And at the bottom are buttons that change the behavior of the map editor operations and display. Those buttons being along the bottom edge of the screen. Now, as they can show you in this animation, these palettes are removable and can be positioned anywhere that is easy to operate. So we're seeing modular operation of these different panels, these palettes, as smileboom calls them. And it reminds me a lot of so many other actually contemporary softwares like Blender, Premiere Pro, software that is powerful, that enables you to have your own workflow. So not only can you just use this tool as is, you can place these windows in different places to emulate an existing workflow that you may have if you're used to working in another RPG creation tool. So accessibility and intuition, that's not right. You know what I mean. Among the things you can move around, the map list palette, the placed list palette, the common events palette, the tools palette, the stamps palette, and the map settings palette. The stamps palette meaning the part of the window that manages terrains, objects, and events being placed on the map. They are calling all of these together colloquially stamps, which makes sense because you do stamp these things down, although I've always considered terrains to be more of a paintbrush thing. Create a new map. All maps created in a project are stored in the map list palette. New maps can be created by pressing the add button and specifying the map size, etc. While it is possible to start with a flat terrain, BAKIN can also generate an undulating terrain from scratch or from an image drawn with specific rules. So now, not only can you generate new maps, you can specify randomity. You can provide the editor images, and it will make a map based on select parameters in that image. You can randomize absolutely everything. You can create infinite maps with all of these natural, beautiful curvatures to your heart's content, and very, very easily facilitate the creation of very nice, smooth-looking terrains such as this. I love it. Tweaking a terrain. Once you have a new map, use the various tools in the Tools palette to tweak the terrain. Various types of selection tools can be used to select areas or to raise or lower the terrain. This is all looking very familiar for those of us who use Smile Game Builder. We can already do this in SGB, so it's nice to see these tools making a return. It may be easier to create a rough terrain by using a right-click menu, such as align the elevation to the lower or higher of the selected area, and then adjusting the terrain in detail. So they've given you ways to very quickly prototype your maps by using all of these different selection tools, and then what you can do with the right-click context menus that appear after you've selected your terrain. Placing events and objects, the terrain being roughly complete. In BAKIN, buildings, trees, furniture in a house, and other items to be placed on maps are grouped together in the form of stamps on the Stamps palette. Simply select the stamps from the objects in the Stamps palette and place them on the editor to complete the placement. Of course, the angle and size of objects can be freely adjusted, and objects can be placed floating in the air. You can also place desired objects such as grass or trees in a sequence, tracing them like a pen. Events can be placed in the same way as objects. We will discuss events another time. Everything placed so far is lined up in the Place List palette. The Place List palette is not only a list of placed items, but also manages their sizes and other informations. So you'll be able to place your single tree asset on the map, rotate it, scale it, translate it. You'll end up with so many different variations of just a single asset. This time around, it's so much more than just placing one item. You can see from the screenshot that we have these widget tools, and now they just make so much sense. The widget appears just like it would in Blender or Unity, allowing you to freely rotate and it looks like there is a snap toggle so that you can have these things rotated to probably specific degrees. I would guess 90 degrees, 45 degrees angles, things like that. You can probably freely rotate them without that snap turned on as well. Create the map more in detail. BAKIN allows point lights and spotlights to be placed on maps. Select and place lights from the tools palette and tweak the range of influence of the lights, etc. If you want fine control, use the properties in the place list palette to adjust the values. Next, let's place particle effects. Particle effects such as water splashes, clouds, and fireflies can also be placed on maps in the form of stamps in the Stamps palette. Finally, screen effects are used to determine the overall mood of the map. Open the Rendering Settings tab in the Map Settings palette. Various numerical values are lined up, and although they can be adjusted in detail, the atmosphere can be drastically changed simply by selecting the preset data that has been prepared. Let's start from choosing from the presets. The details of rendering settings will be introduced in another article. So you can see that from the beautiful animations, the kind of scene that BAKIN can already facilitate for you in just a matter of a couple minutes. Local light is being set up here. BAKIN's map editor has many more features. We invite you to make your dream of wonderful game stages come true with BAKIN. Amazing, beautiful, awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Let us check out the community now. One question that really stands out to me that I want to look at as soon as possible: will it be possible to export the map in FBX, and will it be possible to build buildings with more than one floor on the same map? Smileboom answers, thank you for your question. We are currently working on the ability to output maps in FBX format. It is possible to create buildings with more than one floor on the same map. RPG developer BAKIN allows free placement of objects in all XYZ directions. Does this mean that it will be possible to create floating platforms without needing support underneath? Yes, that is correct. You can create a foothold in the air or set crystals floating. Already amazing. 2022 and 2023 are going to be the year of BAKIN. Unlit material. Will the new engine have the option of textures without being affected by light, such as unlit material? I barely used SGB, and as I recall, I couldn't replicate that. Actually, it looked to me like in SGB, all of the textures are just diffused so that they don't really react to light the same way that materials should. But the answer from Kenji Sugiuchi, a developer for SGB, says, thank you for your question. A shader called NoLit can be used to make the light unaffected. So it looks like you can have that just simple, diffuse, unaffected by light texture. Does this product use Unity? In the past, I wouldn't have batted an eye, but with recent news about Unity, their merger, among other controversial topics that we won't get into here, I have to ask if this product uses it. RPG developer BAKIN is not a tool developed using Unity. It is completely our own engine. I can vouch for Smileboom on that one. They've been creating video game development tools a long time. The tool that they've made here was made in middleware that they themselves created, so... Map size and movement limits. What is the planned maximum size of maps? A number of RPG making tools and programs seem to limit the map's length and height to just 256 by 256, which in some cases is simply too small, especially in regards to making world maps, which may require a lot more detailed environments. And will player and event movement be tied to a simple tile or grid movement system, or will we have something akin to proper per pixel / analog movement that allows for full freedom? Kenji says, thank you for the question. We are currently making adjustments to the maximum size of the map, so I cannot give you a definitive answer. It is easy to set the limit higher, but we are considering it carefully, as it may cause usability issues depending on the content of the maps we produce. Players and events have complete freedom of movement and are not tied to a grid. Those to me were the most interesting questions for this particular video. There have been a couple of them. I don't want to name out names or call anybody out, but it does seem like there are a few people who are vehemently against Smile Game Builder and Smileboom as a whole, and why they're asking questions in this forum is completely beyond me, because it seems like there wouldn't be an answer that existed to satisfy them. These people do not seem to really comprehend what exactly Smile Game Builder is, despite its simplicity and the fact that it does exactly what it says it does as a product for a consumer to buy, and has likely since its release in 2016, which is to make a game without the need to program. It's extremely clear to me that BAKIN, while it is a spiritual successor to Smile Game Builder, improves on it exponentially in so many different ways that it's quite silly, in my opinion, to claim that it's unfair that this new tool isn't just some sort of free update for Smile Game Builder users. I've seen this sort of opinion too, and it's something I don't really want to rant about, but just to make my stance on it clear, I think that Smile Game Builder and BAKIN are about 7 years apart in development. It makes total sense to me that BAKIN is a completely new product that requires a new cost to make and a new price to sell to consumers. You don't want the updates that BAKIN has to be applied to Smile Game Builder, because Smile Game Builder is a 32-bit program and BAKIN is a 64-bit, and you are more than likely using a 64-bit system today using Windows 10. And if you're using any other operating system, then you're probably not really interested in this product, because right now it is a Windows-only software. And since Smile Game Builder is Windows-only, that doesn't seem to be changing in the near future. Despite those facts, smileboom has already stated they are going to continue to support Smile Game Builder, which is absolutely amazing. We have seen updates. They have been few and far between. They haven't been very well communicated ahead of time, and that's just because the tool was probably considered to be complete by its developers when it launched. I'm sure that they were always going to be listening to feedback and implementing or triaging at least the various types of requests they got in order to see what was feasible and profitable to add to Smile Game Builder. And that's it for today. What kind of burning questions do you still have about RPG developer BAKIN? Go to the Steam forums and ask them there. Smileboom are keeping a close eye on the Steam forums and are answering so many of these questions. And we're getting surprising answers and not just, oh, we can't tell you that right now. Be sure to join the official Smile Game Builder /RPG developer BAKIN Discord, link always in the description below. And keep an eye on this channel for more updates regarding RPG developer BAKIN, because when this releases, you know I'm going to be all about it. That's it for now. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye for now.